So welcome to yoga this morning with Lynn. Remember that you always do yoga at your own risk, so be aware how you feel as you move and don't do anything that doesn't feel comfortable. Make any adjustments you want, rest anything out that you want. And we're going to be using a little later on a brick if you have a brick, and if you don't have a brick, don't worry. There'll be other options that you can take, but I feel that's the best option. So if you do have one, find it, save it for later. And then once you're settled, have a lie down on the floor. Find a comfortable position. Legs and feet relaxed, arms and hands relaxed, shoulders relaxed, back of the head comfy. And then an awareness of your breath. If you can follow the next 3 breaths, the whole of the in-breath, the whole of the out-breath for the next 3 breaths. And maybe making the breath a little bit deeper, a little bit slower. So still your full awareness on your breath as you bring your arms by your sides. And then move your arms in time with the breath, lifting all the way overhead as you breathe in, all the way back down as you breathe out. And the next time your arms land by your sides, let them stay there. Take a bend of your knees, bring both feet onto the floor. And then bring just your right knee up onto your chest and your left hand hugging your right knee in. Right arm comes out to the side at shoulder height, palm face up. And then you're going to stretch out the left leg. So as you hug the right knee in, the left leg is really straight out along the floor, on the floor. And you're pushing the heel away. We're going to move it slowly into a twist. So feel the back of your right arm on the floor. Maybe even squeeze it down firmly. Keep it squeezed down as you guide your right knee over to the left, but move slowly. The right arm stays down and the left heel stays pushing away from you. You're still hugging the knee up towards you as it rolls over. So you roll onto the outside edge of your left leg, just as far as that right arm allows you to go. And then really push the left heel to the wall that it's moving towards and the right fingers out to the right. Then gently roll onto your back. When you get there, right foot down on the floor, left arm out to the side, left knee onto your chest and right hand on your left knee. Lots of instructions for a Monday morning. So squeeze the left knee in towards you with the right hand and extend the right leg out along the floor. Heel pushes away. So that leg's really working hard to be straight. You can feel the left arm on the floor. Take a breath in. And as you exhale, with your right hand, guide your left knee over to the right. So the left arm stays there. Feel yourself rolling onto the outside edge of your right hip. And your right little toes maybe find the floor as well. Just take the knee as far as you want. Your right elbow can even go on the floor to give yourself a bit of support to hold the knee if that feels comfy. Push the heel away. Roll the top of the left arm down to the floor. And then gently back onto your back. Left foot on the floor. Stretch it out. And then take both arms beyond your head. So a big lengthways stretch. Bring your legs together. Push both heels away. Stretch your arms, fingertips away from you. And then spread your fingers wide. Spread your toes wide. Even wider. And then relax your hands and feet. Bring your arms back down by your sides. Bend your knees again, feet onto the mat. And then knees onto your chest. Hands around your knees, a rock side to side. And come to rest at the centre. Feet back down on the floor. And we're going to roll to one side to make our way up to standing. For our salute to the sun. So you want to be able to stand at the front short end of your mat. So it's going to be like that. So Tadasana first, mountain pose, standing tall. Your feet can be together or apart, but your toes point forwards so that your knees are pointing forwards. The whole of your leg is in that same plane. If you bent your knees, they'd go forwards over your toes. And equally weighted left and right. So feel what standing tall feels like to you. Maybe a bit of softness in your knees if they feel tight. And then imagine a helium balloon in your chest, within your rib cage, lifting up. Or a plastic little kid's football in water. You know how it's really buoyant, lifting up. And it's not just lifting up towards the front of your chest, it's lifting up to the sides and the back as well. So feel how it stretches the sides of your waist as it lifts up. But that buoyancy is not in your shoulders. Your shoulders remain heavy. They rest on that ball or balloon. And then another ball or balloon in your head. Maybe close your eyes to feel that one. And again, it's not going to tilt your face up towards the ceiling. It's going to lift your head straight up. So if your eyes closed, reopen them. Just gaze straight ahead. Slow, steady breath. And then lift your arms to the ceiling. So again, your shoulders stay with that heavy feeling, so they're not hoiking up towards your ears. Your upper arms are as close to your sides of your head as is comfortable for your shoulders. Elbows are straight. And then see if you can take your upper arms a bit closer to the wall behind. Look up between your fingers. Reach back and a bit wider so that you can lift the centre of your chest towards the ceiling. Stretching your arms out still. Look forwards, reach back up again. And then take a forward fold. A bend of your knees, fingertips find the floor. And then you can relax your upper body, relax your shoulders, head and neck. Check your feet aren't rolling in any strange way, keep them firm on the floor. Right leg steps back to a lunge. And then lift your chest, look forwards. Left foot back to down face dog. And as you come into down face dog, hips up, head down. Tummy button to spine. Slide forwards to a straight line. So now hips lower, your head raises till everything's straight. Hold it steady. Knees gently to the floor. And elbows staying narrow, front body smoothly down to the floor as well. Once everything's landed, roll your shoulders back. A lift of your chest. And then look back down at the floor. Push up to hands and knees. Tuck your toes under. Back into down face dog. Tummy button to spine, and then a walk through the legs. Don't rush to walk through. Take your time on each stretch. Now take your full attention to the stretching leg. Notice where it's stretching. And can you stretch the parts of the leg that is not where it's stretching most? So if it's round the calf, can you stretch the back of the thigh a little bit? And then both heels squeeze down to the floor as if there's pads of sponge under them, but still hips up, head down. Weight on the left foot, limp between your hands. Step your right foot through to a lunge. Step the left foot forwards, forward fold. Deep bend of your knees, hips go low. Keep your hips low as you lift your shoulders, and then straighten your legs to come up. Tall as you can, palms together, and then stay tall as your palms come down, hands come down. So find even weight on both feet, that buoyancy in your rib cage, buoyancy in your head, heaviness in your shoulders. Lift your arms. And then look up, reach back and wide. Look forwards, reach up. Forward fold. Left leg back to a lunge. Lifting your chest to look forwards. Right foot back to down face dog. Hips high. Tummy button to spine. Slide forwards. Level it all out. So if you're feeling strong, knees stay lifted, and if you've got your knees lifted, see if you can, when we do go down in a moment, land everything at the same time. Else knees gently on the floor and smooth lower down. Roll your shoulders back, lift your chest. Gentle back bend. Look back down, push up to hands and knees, tuck your toes under, down face dog. Tummy button to spine, and then think hips up, head down. Sponges underneath your heels, push them down, but then hips up again. Hips as high as they'll go, head as low as it will go. In line with your spine, obviously. And then weight on your right foot, look between your hands, step the left foot through to a lunge. Step the right foot forwards, forward fold. Deep bend of your knees, hips down low, shoulders lift. Straighten your legs, full height with all your balloons, and then palms to your heart centre. And then move with the breath. So a breath in to lift your arms. Exhale, back bend. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, right leg back to a lunge. Exhale, down face dog. Inhale, plank. Option to drop your knees. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift your chest. Exhale, down face dog. So if you feel you need to step your feet or your hands to a better position, then do. Tummy button to spine, hips up, head down. Sponges under your heels, squeeze them. Squeeze them and then think about hips up again. Weight on the left foot, look between your hands. Breath in, right foot through. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale up. Exhale, palms down. Breath in. And breath out. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, back bend. Inhale up. Exhale, fold forwards. Inhale, left leg back. Exhale, down face dog. Inhale, plank. Option to drop your knees. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift your chest. Exhale, down face dog. Tummy button to spine. Slow breath always helps in down face dog. Hips high. Head low. Lovely, that's nice, Ed. And then squeeze your sponges down under your heels. Raise your hips again. One more breath there. Weight on your right foot, look between your hands. Breath in, left foot forwards. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, stand up. And then exhale, palms down. Breath in. Breath out. And then just a little step apart of your feet. Rest your arms. Stand still. And we're going to take our balance. You want to have a bit of room behind you to balance. So I'm certainly going to have to move. Come on to that angle. We're going to take a forward fold and then lift a leg up behind. It doesn't matter how high it lifts behind, but just make sure you've got that space there behind to lift it up. So feet a little bit apart. And if when you go into a forward fold, you like your legs further apart, then that's fine. Go wherever you want with your legs. Standing tall to start. Going to take a breath in to lift your arms. And then a breath out to fold forwards. So you can bend your knees to get your fingertips on the floor. If you can have straight legs, you can have straight legs. Your legs be straight, you can have them straight if you prefer. So we're going to balance on the left foot. So we're going to make the points of an equilateral triangle on your mat with your two sets of fingers and your left toes. So the corners of a triangle. If you struggle to balance, go bigger. If you find it easier to balance, go smaller with the size of your triangle. And then look down at the floor. Imagine you're wearing a pair of jeans and somebody has come up by your side and they're pulling the waistband at the back of your jeans up, right up to the ceiling, and you're almost being lifted off the floor. So you've got to push your left foot back down to reach the floor. Feel how your tummy engages. And then let the right leg go out behind. It can go an inch off the floor, it can come parallel with the floor. So you're looking carefully at the floor. You're still being lifted up by the back of your waistband. Then tighten your right leg. Tightening that lifted leg really gives you the balance. You can Hold your balance there, but if you want to test it a little bit more, then take one hand onto your standing ankle. And if that feels good, maybe a second hand on your standing ankle. Keep the lifted leg tight. Feel how when you tighten it, you get a bit more balance. And then both sets of fingertips back down on the floor. A bend of your standing leg. Bring the right leg back down again, as much knee bend as you want, feet hip distance apart, and then a big bend of your knees. Tuck your tailbone under, tuck your chin in, and then we're going to roll back up to standing. Just look straight ahead, stand at your tallest. Breath in to lift your arms. Breath out to forward fold. This time we're going to balance on the right leg. So your triangle is with your right toes and both sets of fingers. So find the size of triangle you want. If you're not going to lift your fingers off the ground, you can go as big as you like. If you want to lift a hand off the ground, you don't really want to be placing so much weight forwards onto your hands because it's quite difficult to get it back onto your feet. So make your choice. And then find where you're going to hold your gaze. Be lifted up by your waistband. Really feel that being lifted up. And then let the left leg go out behind. So push your heel away. Make that leg really tight. Tight left leg. A lift up through your waistband. A steady gaze. And then any playing around with your hands that you want to do. You might just want to make that triangle smaller. You might want to take one hand or both onto your standing ankle. Your choice is that you stay there. And then let both sets of fingertips come back down onto the floor. Get your balance. A bend of the right knee, the standing knee. Left foot comes back down on the floor, hip distance away from the right. A good deep bend of both knees. Tailbone tucks under, chin tucks in, and roll back up to standing. Lovely. So we're going to have a lie down on our backs. So when you're ready, lie yourself down, stretch out. Have a moment just to notice any sort of residual feelings from that balance or from the salute to the sun. Well, it doesn't matter where they've come from, just any sensations that are going on in your body, maybe your hips, your legs. Legs together, arms by your sides, palm face down, and then pull your toes up towards you, push your heels away. So I'm going to work the abdominal muscles with single leg raises. So left leg on the floor, but both heels still pushing away. You can take a breath in and lift the right leg up as high as it wants to go. So maybe it'll go vertical if you're lucky, but just wherever it wants to go. And then as you exhale, lower it back down, tummy button to spine. Relaxed shoulders, right leg on the floor, breath in, lift the left leg, both legs strong and straight. Exhale, lower it back down. Breath in, right leg lifts. Feel all that strength on the floor, your framework on the floor. Exhale, lower back down. That's letting you lift the leg. So final one, breath in to lift the left leg. Feel everything on the floor that's helping it to lift, and then exhale, lower it back down. So have a moment to rest there. I'm going to do it again, but with less framework on the floor. So as you lift and lower each leg, there's going to be less weight from the other leg on the floor. So for example, yeah, less. So you can hover your feet off the floor, hover your calves and heels off the floor as we get into the exercise. It's quite difficult at the moment, but it's really important that if your back starts to arch, then you've kind of overloaded your abdominal muscles and your back is starting to kick in. You don't want your back to kick in. So if it arches, that's your sign that you've gone a little bit too far, and you need to put a bit of weight on the leg that stayed on the floor. It doesn't have to be pushing down into the floor like it maybe was just then. You're just lightening the load. So feel what feels good over the next, we'll do 3 on each side. So feel your way. You can change how much pressure is on the leg on the floor, or you can have no weight on that leg. So start with your heels pushed away. Maybe lightness in the legs. It's a bit easier once we've got started if you're going to hover. So tummy button to spine, relaxed shoulders, both legs straight. Breath in, right leg lifts. Exhale, right leg lowers, tummy button to spine. Inhale, left leg lifts. Exhale, left leg lowers. Inhale, right leg. Exhale, right leg. Inhale, raise the left. Exhale, lower. One more to each side, tummy button to spine. Inhale, lift the right. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift left. Exhale, lower. Let both legs drop onto the floor. Take them a little bit apart, let them relax. Maybe take your arms into a more comfortable position. And then we're going to take a double leg lift as well. So double legs, you don't even get the chance of having a leg on the floor. So if you want to make it slightly lighter for yourself, if you found that really hard before, then tuck your hands underneath your buttocks, squeeze your elbows in, because then your arms give a little bit of strength down into the floor as well. They give a bit of help. It does make quite a big difference. So be prepared to try it. Be prepared to chop and change if you want to. We're going to do 3 lift and lowers with the legs. We're going to lift them up. We're going to have a couple of breaths at the top to settle, and then we're going to lower slowly down. And I'm going to count as we go down. As I count, try and get halfway by half of the count. The lower half of the legs, when you the second half of lowering is always harder than the first when your legs are close to the ground. So try and make it even throughout, but if it doesn't work for you, then just go slower at the top half and then make a bigger finish. Your choice. So legs stretched out, heels pushing away, arms either by your sides or hands snuggled underneath you, and then take a breath in as you lift both legs up towards the ceiling. So when they get there, if your lower back has arched a bit, just adjust so that it's flat on the floor. I think mine does. I don't think it happens for everyone. I don't know if it's a girl thing or what it is, but make sure your back is nice and flat on the floor so you can really draw your tummy button down. And then heels push away. Imagine your legs are zipped together tight. They're as long as they can be, and they're zipped together. You're going to take a breath in. You're going to lower for a count of 6. So exhale to lower. 1, 2, 3, halfway down, 4, 5, 6, and then rest on the floor. Breath in to lift them both. Moment there just to settle. Zip them together. Push the heels away, stretch them long, relax your shoulders. This time coming down for 7. Breath in, exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Rest when they get there. Final one. Breath in to lift. Lower back on the floor, tummy button to spine, arms where you want them, shoulders relaxed. Zip your legs up, take a breath in, 8 this time. Exhale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then relax your legs completely. Maybe take them apart a little bit. Turn your palms face up, have a few breaths. And then a stretch of the front body with Setu Bandha bridge pose. So bend your knees. If you've got anything behind the back of your head, slide it away. You want your shins to be as vertical as they can be, and I know you can't even see your shins, but it's kind of heels close in towards your hips, and your feet hip distance apart, toes a little bit turned in, to encourage your knees to be in line with your heels and your hips, and then arms by your sides, palm face down, elbows as close to your waist as you can get them. Press down through your arms, through your feet, and then lift your hips up off the floor. A comfortable lift to start, and then feel your feet on the floor again, heels, balls of your feet, inside and outside edges. Press down, you get a bit more lift. Knees still in line. And then bend your elbows so your fingers point up to the ceiling, but your upper arms are still on the floor. Maybe you can you can shuffle your elbows a little closer in. And that should give you a good bit of leverage to push down through your elbows and your upper arms to get more lift in your chest. Once you've got that bit of lift in your chest, push down in your feet again. Feel how your hips can go up even more. Steady breath. So work your arms, work your feet. One more breath there. And then stretch your arms out. Roll back down through your back. Pull your hips slowly but strongly towards your heels. Feel everything roll back down. And once you've landed, bring your knees onto your chest. Hands around your knees, take a breath in, and as you exhale, bring your forehead up towards your knees. Shoulders away from ears. And then let your upper back come back down to the floor and the back of your head. And when your head's landed, have a rock side to side. Feet back down on the floor. Roll over to one side. I'm going to come back up to standing. I'm going to do standing postures today that have the mat straight on. So you're going to be looking towards the short end of the mat. And we're going to start towards the back of the mat with feet just a little bit apart, starting with Parsvottanasana, so side stretch it's called. And in side stretch we want to think about the torso staying completely long rather than letting the shoulders roll over and the back arch. So the left leg is going to turn out, and the right leg is going to step a medium-ish step forwards, so not too far forwards. Clasp your hands behind your back. And if you can't clasp comfortably, just have them behind your back and squeeze your upper arms together. So see that your hips are as aligned to the front of the mat as you can. So left hip probably wants to come a little bit forwards, right hip a little bit back. And as you get that position, strong down into the back heel. So we want to stop the back from rounding. So the arms behind give us a chance to roll the shoulders back. So the top chest stays broad, stops the upper back from that rounding feeling, but it doesn't stop the length of the back from curving. So think about being long all the way from the front, through the front of your body. Squeeze your upper arms, squeeze your back heel down. We're going to move really slowly and thoughtfully. So take a breath in, and then as you exhale, just start to hinge forwards at your hips, but move slowly. Try and keep your hips as close to the back wall as you can. So dig your back heel into the floor to let that happen. Don't go to your maximum. Stop there for a moment. So if your front knee feels any pressure, a little bend in the front knee, squeeze your upper arms, let your shoulders float away from the floor, and then see if you can get any more length, like pulling your collarbones forwards and your hips back. Lift your hands off the back of your hips, lift them up towards the ceiling, squeeze your upper arms together. So with the same length in your front body, can you hinge a little bit further? Doesn't matter how far you go, you're just working with your own flexibility and strength. So when you can't go any further, you're going to keep the length in the front body, you're going to keep the shoulders floating away from the floor, the upper arms squeezing together, but you can let your head and neck hang if you want to, let them be comfy. Pulling your hips back, digging your back heel into the floor. Long front body, upper arms squeezing. Fantastic. And then release your arms, relax your arms, take a good bend in your front knee. Pick up the back heel as well so that you can bring your fingertips down onto the floor. Step your left foot in line with your right foot. Deep bend of your knees. Tuck your tailbone under, tuck your chin in. We're going to roll back up to standing. Lovely. So the key is not to lean too far forwards, not to hinge too far forwards to make yourself round. Keep long in your front body, but they all look lovely. So back to the back of the mat, towards the back of the mat. Hands behind your back again. And this time the right foot turns out, the left foot steps forwards. If you struggle keeping your back heel on the floor, then don't step as long a stride. So you want to be as wide as you can, as long as you can, but you want that back heel to be able to dig into the floor. So hips square to the front. And roll back of your shoulders, tummy button to spine. Feel the back heel digging in, take a breath in. And then as you exhale, hinge forwards. Push your hips back as you hinge forwards. It's like you're keeping your weight on your back foot. Don't go to your maximum. Stop where you are. And then think. Lift your hands away from your back. Squeeze your upper arms. Float your shoulders away from the mat. And then find that length in the front of your torso. So collarbones forwards, hips back. Let your head and neck be comfy. Dig the back heel in. Maybe you can go a little bit further without compromising all those things. So just as far as you can go. Little bend in the front knee if you need it, of course. So the back heel and the tummy working hard to support the sort of holding the shoulders up. Steady breath, looking good. And then relax your arms. Bend your front knee, bring your fingertips onto the floor in front of your left foot. Step your right foot forwards. So we're going to stay here in our forward fold. So feet strong down on the floor. Adjust where they are if they're not in your normal forward fold position. And then take a hold of the opposite elbow with each hand. Let your head and neck and shoulders just be taken with gravity, nothing else. As much bend in your knees as gives your lower back a good bit of stretch. So you can bend and straighten your legs a little bit just to see what difference it makes. And then release your elbows. A good deep bend of both knees. Tuck your tailbone under, tuck your chin in, roll yourself back up. So reverse triangle is just a little extension of exactly where we are. So we're going to go back into the same position, but we're going to take hands on hips this time. But that same position, and then we're going to just take a twist, because that's all reverse triangle is. So if you've got your brick's going to be on the floor, and that's a little extension of your arm, and all we're going to do is turn. So if you don't have a brick, a block is pretty good. In fact, it's a little bit higher, so it's quite good, but it's just not quite as stable. You've got to be really careful that you don't lean too much onto it and then it falls over. That wouldn't be pretty. And if you don't have either, then hand either on your thigh or on your shin, but not on your knee, somewhere above or below. If you don't have a block or brick and you're using your hand on your thigh or your shin, don't forget you've got a lot less balance than everybody else. It's going to be harder for you to keep the balance, so you've got to really focus on the balance more than anything else. With us, with all us who are lucky enough to have a brick, it's like we've got a third leg, so it's a little bit easier. So if you've got something, you're going to put it at the top left of your mat, just to the left of where your right foot is going to step forwards. So take a step back from your object, but do not worry if you don't have one. And then hands on hips, left leg is behind the brick, you're going to turn it out and you're going to step the right foot forwards. So the same distance forwards as you had before, enough so that you can keep that back heel dug into the floor. Square your hips. So because we're going to turn to the right, you can see why we need to have the hips square to the front of the mat, because they'd like to turn to the left, and if we're going to turn to the right, we don't stand a chance of going round. So take your hips around first. Keep them squared off. So that same length in your front body. Grip with your back heel, take a breath in, and then exhale, slow hinge forwards. Hips pushing back, that's really going to help you keep the length in your upper body. So just go as far as you can, a little bend in the front knee if you want it. Then float your shoulders away from the floor slightly. Take your right hand behind your back, palm face out, and reach down with your left hand for whatever's on the floor or for your right leg, either above or below your knee, doesn't matter which, but a flat back, so that means long in the front body and shoulders floating away from the floor. So pull your hips back, squeeze your thighs together as you dig the back heel into the floor. That's going to keep you strong in the legs, that's got to support you. And then you're going to turn your shoulders to the right. So it's like your left shoulder just lifts up towards the ceiling. Squeeze your thighs together as you go. Turn your whole rib cage. Then picture the angle of your collarbone, bone or bones, I don't know which it is, and your right arm is going to reach out in an extension of that line. So it's not necessarily to the ceiling, it's wherever that line is. And only if you can angle your collarbones more vertical can you take your arm more vertical. Squeeze the thighs, dig the back heel down, tummy button to spine. That's your strength, that bottom half of your body. Lovely. Back of the right shoulder is just going to move back into the space behind it a little bit. Beautiful. Top hand behind your back, palm face out. Look down at the floor. Relax your shoulders. Take a good bend of your right knee. And then we're going to place the fingertips on the floor again. Step the left foot forwards. So we're coming up just as before. Good bend of your knees. Tuck your tailbone under, tuck your chin in. Roll yourself up. Lovely. So balance is the one thing that you've got to get sorted before you can then do the twist. That's kind of the beauty of the posture, that it's got all that balance as well. So the legs and the core really have to work as your solid triangle underneath you, so that the rest of your body is light and can twist in other directions. So your block or brick or whatever is going to go to the right side of your mat, and you're going to take a step back. Hands on hips. Right leg turns out, left leg steps forwards. And hips square up to the front. Remember, we're turning to the left this time, so hips turn a little to the left. Back heel firm. Tummy button drawn in. Take a breath in. Exhale, hinge, pushing your hips back as you go. Pushing your hips back, digging the back heel in. Core tight. And then just check that you've got that length in your front body. Your shoulders can float away from the floor. So you've got the width in the top chest as well. And then left hand behind your back. right hand finds whatever it's going to find. If it's a brick or a block, you can move it to wherever it feels like it's a good place to be. If it's your hand, it's going to be on your shin or your thigh. Okay. So really lift your chest as if you're looking forwards, but then let your head and neck relax a little bit more. Back heel digs into the floor, thighs squeeze together, and then you turn to the left. So it's all about that triangle of strength at your legs, giving you the sort of flexibility and lightness in your upper body. Squeezing your thighs together makes a good bit of strength. And then work out the line of your collarbones. Extend your arm in that same line. Beautiful. Don't be tempted to take it further. Get the collarbones to move more vertical by rolling the back of the left shoulder up into the space behind it to lift the arm. Looking lovely. And then top hand behind your back, palm face out, look down at the floor. So relax your shoulders, take a good deep bend of your left knee. Fingertips on the floor, step the right foot forwards. Have a moment there. And then deep bend of your knees, tailbone under, chin under, roll yourself back up. Beautiful. I'm going to finish our standing postures with a wide leg forward fold. So that you're going to be standing facing the long edge of your mat with legs wide apart. If you know what you're doing, you don't have to move your mat around because you're going to be looking the other way anyway. So feet comfortably wide, toes a little bit turned in, hands on hips. So again, it's all about the legs. It's another triangle to keep you strong. That's your support. Feel the outside edges of your feet on the floor. Keep them pressed down. Take a breath in. Exhale, hinge again. So it's all those same things as you hinge. The front body stays long. You don't have to push your hips back this time though, just keep balanced. Think about the outside edges of your feet. And when you can't go any further, let go of your hips. And then relax your upper body. That triangle is holding everything, well, it's holding your tailbone in place. And then the whole of your spine can then dangle from that point. And other bits of your body, your arms, your head, shoulders, they can all hang with your spine. So hands, either fingers on the floor if they reach. If they don't reach, then hands on your legs, just to give yourself a bit of support, to give your back a bit of support, your spine a bit of support. But try and let it hang as naturally as it can. Stay there and take 3 more breaths there. So as you breathe in, outside edges of your feet on the floor, but a feel of lift up through the backs of your legs, right up the backs of your thighs. And then as you exhale, a relax of your shoulders. Breath in again, feel the outside edges of your feet, and then push up through the backs of your legs. Exhale, relax your upper body. 1 more breath in, outside edges of your feet, push up through the backs of your legs. Exhale, soft shoulders, soft head and neck. And then a deep bend of both knees so that you can get your fingers on the floor underneath or slightly forwards of your shoulders. And then heel toe your feet towards each other till they're at squatting distance apart, so a little bit wider than hip distance. And toes wide out to the side. Knees over your toes, so knees out to the side as well as you go down. Just feel your way down. Doesn't matter if you stop halfway and put your knees, elbows on your knees, that's fine. Or if you go all the way. Heels down as much as you can, but for some they will always pop up. And palms together, elbows can push your knees out. Don't stay any longer than you want to here. Wonderful. So look down at the floor in front of you. You're going to take your hands onto the floor as you lift your hips up a little bit. So weight on your hands and then lower one knee and then the other to the floor. Gently down. Once you're down, take a lie down on your back. Oh, and as you lie down on your back, if you like to have a block behind the back of your head for when we do some things, you know, and I might say put a block behind your head. If you like that, have a block there ready to put behind, or even put it behind now. If you're not sure, put it behind, see how it feels. You can move it in and out at your will. Close your eyes, have a moment just to notice the sensations again. Not to think what caused them, but just what it feels like right now, this moment. Open your eyes, bend your knees, feet onto the mat. And this is where you might like the block behind your head, so if you know you will, then pop it in. You're going to bring your right knee onto your chest, hold it in, and then lift your head towards your knee. You're going to take your right hand, if you can, take a hold around the outside edge of your right foot with your right hand. If you can't reach, hold the ankle, hold somewhere along the shin, and then as you show the sole of that foot up towards the ceiling as you lay your upper back and the back of your head back down on the floor. So you can see why you might want something underneath the back of your head now, so do have it if you feel you need it. So you might be holding your shin or ankle or outside edge of your foot. But relax your right hip as if you could almost let your knee melt down into your armpit. And take your left arm out to the side, palm face up. Stretch the left leg out along the mat. Push the heel away. So if that's too much stretch with the left leg stretched out, then feel free to bend your left knee and place it on the mat. Like the left leg is working to be straight and strong. The right leg, the right hip trying to soften. Knee dropping down towards the floor in your mind's eye. And then bend your right knee again, foot onto the floor. You're going to very gingerly bring your left hand back onto your right leg so that you can let go of your leg with the right hand and let it stretch up towards the ceiling. So hold the back of the thigh maybe, stretch the leg up, relax your shoulders, as straighter leg as you can. So don't let it relax, it's pushing to be straight. And you're going to let that leg come out to the right side. So straight out to the right side. Try and keep your right toes as close to the wall behind you as you can, not letting your heel go closer to the wall in front. And then maybe let your right elbow go onto the floor so that your right hand can then support your leg out to the side. Stretch it long. The left knee will probably drop out to the left side as a bit of a counterbalance. Try to keep both sides of your hips, your lower back on the floor. With your right hand, gently guide your leg back to the centre. Your left knee comes up to the centre as well. And then bend your right knee. Hands behind your thigh, squeeze it in towards you. And then bring your forehead up towards your knee. Relax your shoulders. So you're squeezing the right side of your body into a tight little ball. And then gently roll your upper back, the back of your head back down. And let your right foot go back down on the floor. So left knee to your chest, hands around your shin or the back of your thigh, lift your head up, and then you've got a bit more length in your left hand. So can you hold your left hand onto the outside edge of your foot If not, the ankle or the shin, wherever you can. Lift the foot up towards the ceiling, keeping that knee bent in towards you as much as you can, and lower your head back down to the floor. Right arm out to the side. So, is there tension in your shoulders that you can release? Is there tension in your left hip that you can release? And then stretch the right leg out if you want to. So it's a straight right leg with the heel pushing away. Imagining just softening your left hip and imagine how the knee would drop down towards the floor. Bend the right knee, foot onto the floor. And then bring your right hand onto your left leg as well, so that you can just cautiously stretch it up. That feels like the most sensitive bit. Get as straighter leg as you can. And then we're going to let that left leg go directly out to the left. So the left toe stays close to the wall behind as they already are as the leg goes out. You can get your left elbow on the knee to give a bit of support to the leg. And your right knee can drop out to the side as a counterbalance as well. If you press into your left elbow on the floor, you find that you can kind of roll your right hip, the hip that wants to lift up away from the floor, you push it back down. Then it's easier to sit flat on your back. Lengthen the left leg. Guide your left leg back up to the ceiling. Your right knee comes back in line as well. And then draw your knee in towards your chest. Either hands behind your thigh or around your shin. And then forehead up towards your right knee. Gently roll back down. So when your head hits the mat or the block, relax your shoulders, release your left leg. And then stretch both legs out. Take them as wide apart as the mat. Take your arms a little way away from your sides, palm face up. Close your eyes. Reach your arms beyond your head. Take a big stretch out. Bring your legs together. Push your heels away. Pull your toes up towards you. And then point your toes away. And then release the whole stretch. Let everything relax. Bend your knees, feet onto the mat. Knees onto your chest, one hand on each knee, and then move your knees around in a big circle. Then back the other direction. Change it into a rock side to side. Have a sneaky look to either side to work out which way you're going to roll. And then make that roll. So there, back up to sitting. Namaste. Thank you for joining me today.